Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass the Move. And for today's episode, we've got the Europa League for you. Now, I know I promised that we won't be showing you the Europa League because we've got the Porto game coming up, but I figured we're just gonna stick to that 5-game rule. You know, just show you a game every 5 games, basically on episodes. And you know, if it happens to fall between the Porto game, then why not? But and not this Porto game. I mean, if it happens to fall on a big game, basically, then that makes a bit more sense to show you. Because you know, still early on in the season anyways, we're not really sure what are the big games and what aren't, even though Porto are right there. We'll get through though in just a second about what happened since the last episode and what we've been doing, but I did realise that I forgot to mention any transfers. So in terms of the history, we actually haven't spent a penny on anyone. The board are very happy with our financial control. They've agreed to training facilities and youth facilities upgrades, which is perfect. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it really. Where can I show you the board? I always forget where this is. There you go, they're really happy about club finances. So I didn't use the 1.5 million we had to spend. It didn't really make any sense. Also, you can't buy anyone of any significance for that type of money anyways. So we're just going to have to get by on with the players we have at the moment. We've got the numbers, so it's perfect. And hopefully, if we perform well enough in this season, then next season we might have some more money, and that way I can actually spend it on some, couple of useful players. And yeah, let me show you the Premier League. So we're in 4th, which means we're just 1 point away from the Champions League qualification. Of course, it's only been 4 games played, and I'll actually show you that in just a moment. But I did something a little stupid, which was, let me find it. How can I find it? So we've obviously got 5 centre-backs because one of them are injured, so I decided to keep an extra player. Normally I like to keep 2 players per position, so we're supposed to have 4 centre-backs in total. 2 ball-playing defenders, 2 central defenders would have been perfect. But I kept Emilio on just because Ricardo was out for a while. He's actually quite close to coming back. 2 to 5 weeks isn't a bad amount of time to wait at all. I would rather obviously, play my own players rather than known players because they're just about the same, level of ability, I suppose. And, they would also improve. So it makes more sense to improve my own players rather than someone else's players. So I was actually going to terminate Emiliano's contract as soon as, his loan as soon as possible once Ricardo's back. But I forgot that you can only do it during, during transfer windows, basically. So I've missed that one. And which means I have to wait till the winter one, which isn't, a huge deal. But also I didn't register Emiliano for the Euros. And the reason was that we couldn't have one more player registered because that would leave us with less than 3 spaces left, and we're supposed to fill those up, the minimum requirements. So if you can't fill the minimum requirements, as it says here, if minimum rules cannot be reached, spaces must be left in the squad selection. So we didn't have that, so I had to leave him up. Then I also realized that we could have just registered him and possibly registered 2 other youngsters. I think that would have covered it. Actually, wait, what am I talking about? I wouldn't have. Oh, okay, never mind then. So I guess I didn't do anything stupid. It was more about a forced hand. So Emiliano will have to unfortunately miss Europa League games for us, and that's exactly why he misses out in today's game. He was actually in the starting lineup. But more on that in a little bit later. Let's show you what happened since the last episode. So we did show you that Super Taka, tournament where we managed to beat Benfica in the 88th minute as a perfect Maro goal from a set piece, and it was perfect. Which is perfect. We won our first trophy from the get-go, and it puts me in a great position where the fans and the players are already on board, even though it's not a huge competition. Like we mentioned, it's kind of like a community shield tournament, I suppose. We did manage to, in our first Premier League game, to win the game, of course, and it's more of a case about who can score more. We weren't defensively sound, but we did manage to outscore opponents, and that ended 5-2 with Roy Fonte managed to grab a brace, as well as Santos and Wilson Eduardo managing to get, I think, his first goal for the club, if I'm not mistaken. But then what followed was quite disappointing. Back-to-back 1-0 draws against 2 teams we possibly shouldn't be drawing against, and Pinto managed to get the goal against Rio Ave. Even though they opened the scoring in the beginning, I was hoping we could push on and get the second goal to really win it, the winner. But even though we went into overload and whatnot, they really held on. They went into the defensive type of shape, basically. Same thing happened against Tondela, the away game though, so that's a little bit more acceptable. But yeah, all things considered, we should be winning these type of games if we really want to push into those Champions League spots. Against Estoril though, we made up for it and we proved that we can actually beat these so-called smaller teams. We did it comfortably with a 2-0 result. Eduardo and Rodrigo Battaglia managed to get on the score sheet as well. So that was comfortable, and hopefully today's game against Zorya is going to be comfortable as well. Let's quickly show you who's going to be in our Europa League group. We've managed to get some decent teams, and I would expect us to reach the expectations of the board, which is the second knockout round, not the first. So we did get, let me show you here, Sparta Prague, Vigo, Zorya, and I would expect us to do decently against these teams. Just about the same level, I suppose, but I still think we edge it. I think we're favourites for this group, and I would expect us to qualify. And considering there's 2 qualification spots, we should at least be in second, if not first. But yeah, just want to point out some strong teams in this year's competition. Manchester United, as everyone knows, West Ham, Anderlecht, these are very strong teams, of course. Lille, I don't even know how to say them, Borussia Mönchengladbach, you know, the German team, they're strong as well. Saint-Étienne aren't half bad themselves. The Italian team, Fiorentina, are good as well. By no means is this really a B team competition. It deserves some respect. Shakhtar and Celtic are, of course, good competition as well as Feyenoord, Atletico Bilbao, Fenerbahce. These are teams not to really mess about with. I'll still back us, but they're definitely good teams. Ajax, Nice, all good teams. Spartak Moscow as well. Inter as well, I mean, come on. And who else? Southampton, a decent team too. So yeah, it's definitely a competition we're going to be taking seriously. The further we go, the better for us. And maybe we can qualify for through to the Champions League through this competition. As you can see here, Fonte's managing to really get a hold of the central midfield position. The more I play him in there, the better. He also managed to get his first international cap for Portugal. He managed to get 2 of them during the recent international period. We're still playing with Stojkovic. And he's doing okay so far, not the greatest, but he is the target man, to be fair to him. And we're kind of playing him in a less familiar role. Our wingers are doing okay, but as inside forwards, I'd expect them to be finishing chances more often than we created. For example, the games that we showed you, the draws, actually we should have been winning those, and unfortunately for us, our wingers didn't perform on those games, I think. Eduardo managed to... wait, that's not the right game yet. So as you can see here, Santos and Alan both not managed to get any good ratings, as well as here Santos and Eduardo. In fact, Eduardo was so poor in that game that I had to drop him for the Rio Ave one. So yeah, that kind of, tells its own stories. We really need these inside forwards to be getting the majority of the goals, so we need to really... our striker's going to be doing most of the assisting. He will score occasionally, of course, but we're really going to be relying on our wingers here, so we need them to step up. And hopefully today's what they'll step up. So let's just kick off in today's game. We can finally show you some Europa League action, and it'll be interesting. I think Zorya, as I mentioned, every team deserves, some level of respect. We can't expect to be walking over teams all the time. And Zorya will certainly prove us wrong if we ever think that way. So we are favourites for today's game, and I think that's fair enough. But we are away, so we need to be wary of a tough home performance from Zorya. So let's see what we should tell our boys. Yeah, go out there and impress me. Let's see. I want to see more for them, so telling them to impress me would be better. Stojkovic hasn't actually opened his scoring just yet, neither has Hassan, but Hassan has clearly proven to be better at assisting than Stojkovic, and that's kind of just because Hassan's okay with playing a false 9. As you can see here, he's got vision passing, no issues there, and Stojkovic, we're playing him a bit out of his comfort zone, I suppose, but I still expected him to do okay there. Some decent vision and passing, not too bad. He's not far off from Hassan, so I think it's just more about him adjusting to that role. So let's kick off. We are the team gets to kick off the game, basically. Alright, I think we're set on settings, so let's just focus on the game. Yeah, look at that. That's exactly what I want to see. Just to show you here. So that's my right winger there, Santos, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And there you go. That's our wing back covering to provide that width. So I don't mind him cutting inside. Sometimes he does overrun it, just as inside forwards normally do. But sometimes he'll also be finding, Wilson through or Stojkovic through as well. But look at the interchange as well. He's playing as if he's a striker. He's playing as if he's a right winger, and he's playing as if he's a left winger. So that's great. That's exactly what I want to see. I am playing with roam from positions and be more expressive, and that's just to try and unlock our opponents more than, you know, you would normally would do. We are playing on structured though, you know, in terms of the team shape, so it shouldn't be too much freedom. Santos though, decent chance to put a good ball into the box. He doesn't do it at the first time, but Battaglia, he will have a chance. Fonte loses out. Instead, it's Zorya on the counter, and can we deal with it? They are playing a possession-based formation as well, so I'd expect them to keep the ball, which is exactly what they did there. They didn't really counter, but we do have the chance to counter now through Wilson, and hopefully he doesn't lose it. Bata, just going to call him Bata instead. We should actually change his nickname as soon as we get the chance. Wilson, back to Bata, long range shot. Come on, you could have found your winger through there. Could have found Santos through, but instead he decided to go for himself, and Zorya survived, I suppose. Decent start for us though. They are playing with a more, you know, they've got more of a midfield, I suppose, if you want to call it that. They've got 4 midfield, we've got 3, but we do have wingers, and that's why we're kind of dominating possession as well as the shots on target. So nothing significant has happened of yet, and we're supposed to be the favourites. So I'm going to push up into control and see if we can nick a goal, hopefully this way through the set piece. Santos, oh, it's just bouncing about. Bata, what can you do? Back to Santos, finally. Good ball into the box. No, he's going to cut in instead. Stojkovic, ooh, getting closer and closer. The more pressure we put, the better. Fonte, advanced playmaker, come on. Let's see, Anchorman, Bata. This time he does find our wing back, and can he put a good ball into the box? Yes, he does. Santos, oh, all the way across to Wilson, and that's from inside forward to inside forward, and that's exactly what I love to see. That's perfect. That's exactly, you know, there you go. One winger assisting the other, and that's, they're called inside forwards for a reason, because they are technically forwards, so you'd expect the majority of the goals from them and not actually from your striker. And what a ball across from Santos. I don't know how he has the vision to see Wilson there. Either way, 1-0 first. Let me do that before I forget. There you go. Can't say his name, so why not just change it? Alright, not the worst half. Things are going well. Yeah, I think I'm gonna say that. We are away, so normally I would say, yeah, you're doing great, no worries, mate. But I feel like we could be doing a little bit better. Zorya are too close to us for my liking, so the fact that we got the goal is great, but once they went into attacking, they kind of caught up with us. And so we need to try, just, you know, letting my players know that they need to step up a gear, basically. Because that first gear there that we had in the first half was really not enough to beat Zorya away from home. So hopefully they step up their levels now, and instead of Zorya have done that early in the second half. Can we deal with the threat? Yes. Bata, Fonte, Wilson, come on, spark the counter. I have to change his name as well. Stojkovic or something. Just change it to Kovic, I guess. Bata, Santos, can he find his wing back? Yes, he can. Bayano, put a good ball into the box, please, for our striker. Yes, he can. And there you go, Stojkovic. They've immediately responded to my encouragement of telling them to push on, and there you go. Oh, I can just call him Nicola. Come on. Oh yeah, we get the replay first. But how beautiful is this? Just your wing back finally getting forward. We really need to invest in our wing backs as well if we want to see better performances from out wide. They are the ones who are going to be providing us with. They did it there, but really we need more, basically, because they're only considered to be good players for the division than actually not leading. Now I know I normally say that for fullbacks you can't really get anything more than good. The leading and star players for the divisions are kind of hard to find, which is still true. But because the Portuguese league is a couple leagues down from, you know, being the best in the world, we can actually possibly find leading wing backs. And I think I've already done that already. But yeah, obviously we don't have the money to invest just yet. So Bata's a little bit tired. I would have loved to have taken him off, but there's no one here who could really take his position. Mora is actually a defensive midfielder. I'd rather stick to it. If he's too tired for the next game, it just kind of makes sense to rotate him as well, because he's not our first choice ball winning midfielder anyways. Bata, he's actually a backup. He's just performing well enough, you know, he's deserved his first team involvement, and I think he's had a fairly good game this game as well. So Braga 2, Zorya 0, and can we make it 3? Santos finds Nicola to Bayano, and is he going to put a good ball into box to Wilson? Yes, he is, and what a beast Bayano is, and Wilson makes no mistake either. I thought he was going to go for the volley, but instead he went for the header. We're going to get a nice little view of this in the replay. See, that's exactly what I want for my false 9. Bayano as well. Just knocks it in, and Wilson guides that header into the corner. No way the goalkeeper going to get to that ever. 2 assists for our right back, and that was just insulting him. So, Zorya, they're going to try and make it 3-1, and what a save that is. Can we just get rid of the ball, please? Thank you. Let me see what substitutions I can make. No one having a bad game. A couple of players are tired, so we'll take off Rafael as well. He's exhausted. Eduardo. Who have we got here? He's supposed to be the right winger, I think. Yep, left footed means he's right winger. Actually, who else is... Alright, so from about here... Bayano. I want to rest the players who are tired and who have the best performance. So I'm trying to figure out just who is that. Alright, so Pedro Santos, we can take him off. Eduardo would have loved to have rested, but he's on a hat-trick anyway, so I'm sure he'd be happy to stay on a little bit longer. Don't have anyone for you. Nicola, we could take you off for Hassan. He's managed to get a goal himself, so that's quite impressive for a false 9, I suppose. But Pinto is the one tired, but Rosic is not a ball-playing defender, so I think, yeah, just take off Nicola. Give Hassan some game time. And, you know, that's the great thing, actually, about our strikers. We've got 2 very competitive strikers, 2 very close in terms of ability, so that really helps us because we can always rely on both, and neither of them is really a backup. I mean, technically Hassan is a backup, but the way he performs is not of a backup. He's just unlucky that his other teammate, oh there you go, talking about Hassan, he's just unlucky that Nicola is really good as well, and he happens to be the player who's on a first team contract. Both of them have potential as well. They're just about the same age at 23, and they have a tiny bit more potential left in them. What a goal that is from Hassan. I didn't realize he scored it like that. The Egyptian striker. Probably starts for his country all the time, I would assume. But yeah, so they're just unlucky that they're so close to each other. Normally I like to have a bit of an ability gap. You know, I mentioned this before. Ooh, that was almost the goal of the season there. But yeah, I like my first teamer to actually be a very key player, you know, star player for the division type of thing, or even world-class player if possible. Leading's not bad either. And then the backup player is supposed to be a youngster with potential. But we're in this position now where both of them are youngsters with potential. And they're good enough for the first team as well. So it didn't make sense to invest in the striker position just yet. Just let them battle it out, see who improves most. And then the other will eventually fall into that backup position anyways. Because it's unlikely that both of them would develop the same, considering they're in the same position and there's only one spot available. So I would assume Hassan will eventually take over from Nicola, just because he's more suited to the role. Nicola's performances will probably drop off a little bit, and you know, I think we'll eventually have to sell off Nicola and bring in a youngster with potential while Hassan becomes our first teamer, that type of thing. But either way, that's for the future. And right now, Zorya are going to score. Oh, they're not. Great. I guess we're going to get away with a clean sheet. But this is a perfect time for me to actually warn my players. Oh, I can't even warn them. Come on. How about now? Now. Come on, I just want to tell them to concentrate. No one's complacent though, so I'm not sure why it's happening. Either way, there's just 1 minute left, to be specific, with the extra time. And it looks like we're actually going to get another yellow. Bata, they're too tired, just getting a yellow card out of, you know, sheer exhaustion. But Bayano's still going nuts, basically. Hassan loses out though, and Zorya are going to try and start attack it, but I don't think there's enough time for them. The injured Porochenko, Soldat, deal with this please. Yes, thank you. Come on, just blow the whistle, ref. You're not going to do anything. Ooh, Bata, very risky. Thought he was going to get a second yellow. Wouldn't have loved that at all. There you go. So Braga seemed a different team in the second half, and I think that's fair to say. We managed to get 3 second half goals, and that was all due to pushing on my players to do more. Eduardo, man of the match. Or player of the match, I suppose. 2 goals there. Hassan coming off the bench and managing to get a goal himself. And the 4th, of course, coming for our striker, Nicola. And what a performance that is indeed from our players. 4-0. Not a bad start to the Europa League at all. And we're straight up shooting to the first spot. That actually reminds me, one of the games where we drew 1-1, the referee performance it was written that Braga deserved the penalty, but he didn't call it, and that's why, you know, that little saying that they have, the referee incurred the wrath of the fans and the manager or whatever, that business. So apparently we did deserve a penalty, but we just didn't get it, so it's a bit unlucky. We might have scored that. But yeah, what all-round performance. We kind of, I guess Zorya matched us a bit. We just outperformed them, managed to keep the clean sheet even though they had like 2 or 3 clear-cut chances. So that's great from us. And we've got a game in about 3 days time, just 2 days rest. So I'm going to rest my players there and hopefully they recover in time. So yeah, a couple of matches here have been selected for TV, which means we make some decent money from it. I would assume the rest of these will be decided later as well. But yeah, definitely, of course, the Porto game would be showing on TV. But yeah, so let's assume 5 games time. So we did it here. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, and we showed you the 5th game. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll show you the Taça de Portugal 3rd round. Be interesting to show you the first game of that cup competition. And who knows, maybe we'll go really far. The expectation is just the 6th round, so that's not too bad. But I would assume a team of our ability should go further than that. But let's see whether this is the type of performance where it's already tough from the first stage, I guess. I know it's the 3rd round, but I mean the first stage for us. So yeah, we'll show you that cup competition as well, and hopefully we'll be better off in the Premier League at the same time. Only 3 games in between that time. But if we do beat Porto, we have we'll be in a very strong position basically, because they're just above us and can really squeeze into that automatic Champions League position, which is the 1st or 2nd instead of 3rd. 3rd just gets you the group stages or the qualifying for the group basically, and we would rather avoid that. We want to go straight into group stages and be guaranteed that Champions League competition, you know, money basically as well. But anyways, I think that will be all for today's episode. So if you did enjoy it, then please do, of course, hit the like button and subscribe for more Daily Football Manager 2017 content. And as always, guys, thank you all for watching.